Okay, now I just add this to that. Perfection. Oh, I think I'm finally done with satisfactory. I'm just going to add 1 or 2 more things to something, somewhere. Anything but getting this video done. Anything. MJ, The Mystery Hospital is a Kosuge game made in the style of D, released for the PlayStation and its suffocated younger brother back in 1997. Despite being a shockingly dumb game in almost every respect, it received the translation efforts of Snorri Aria, the same person that went through the trouble of translating the insanity that is ancient Roman Power of the Dark Side. Personally, I love this stuff. Taking something that is so obscure and for all accounts should have been buried in a landfill and letting a Western audience member experience the quirky adventures of these 4 kids suffering from a pandemic. In my absolute bare-bones research on this ridiculous plot of R?MJ, I Google translated the Japanese Wikipedia, but in recounting the game I had just played is unfortunately just as impossible to understand when broken down into plain English. This game's plot, I promise you, is so ridiculous that it circles around to being awesome. Think Axe Cop.
I have a rigorous exercise routine. I can do an infinite amount of reps of everything. 1,000,006, 1,000,007.
But written by multiple 5-year-olds instead of just one. Before anyone gets too heated over my pronunciations of R?MJ, according to this web article translated to English from Japanese, the R stands for revenge and MJ stands for mutation Jack. Me off. The game's opening must have been a very proud point of the developer's efforts, since it's played both prior to the start screen and again after you press start. We get a chance to name ourselves, which serves literally zero purpose outside of the sexy Easter egg for later. Skip to this timestamp if you came here for a PG-rated picture of a Japanese model rendered at 240p. Then come back, my analytics would appreciate it. In fact, watch all of my videos in a row multiple times. Comment on them hundreds of times, even if it's hateful shit that makes me cry like a bitch. It all tells YouTube that my pocket of the internet is worth it. For all intents and purposes, I'm stretching this out to fill runtime up. Do you think that last sentence was cringe? Well, buckle up. It's time for the intro in its full glory. Side note, I will mispronounce these names and I absolutely do not care. You star as Hajime, age 18 and 2.63 and some change, a man who loves bikes and rock. Will his strong sense of justice and fiery personality put his friends in danger? No, he's a silent protagonist. Tamuo, age 18 and 2.8, Hajime and Ryo's friend, and just so happens to be a god-tier skateboarder, a bright and handsome boy. His skin is so smooth. Infected? You bet your sweet ass. Ryo, age 18 and 2.466 repeating, is the friend of both of the previous dweebs, as they're clearly not as tough as this power is everything kind of guy. Can his lack of fear for the virus save his friends? No fear. Look at those shades, baby. Aya, a rookie nurse. When she's in her spare time... Whoa, okay guys, this is a Japanese game from the 90s. Believe it or not, some cultures in the world allowed nurses to have spare time and not work 60 hours a week. Try to keep an open mind, alright? Anywho, when this hot nurse isn't treating boo-boos, she's leaving bitches in her dusty wake. She's also the geezer of the group, at a whopping 21 years old and at 3.71 repeating. Friend. Hajime, Tomaro, and Ryo are all childhood friends who could confide in anything, and then accident. A sudden traffic accident involving Ryo reunites these young men that were kids 2 years prior. Full speed. Our silent, nearly useless hero races to the hospital to see Ryo, who turns out to be merely bruised. But the tragedy has already begun. Ellipses. Explosion. These brats are now locked in the hospital due to explodey reasons. I'm just going to say this. The Japanese are weird. If you want to refute that claim, then watch this intro for a second time. Did I mention that already? Once we gain control, if you want to call it that, we are in, for all intents and purposes, D. Quick disclaimer. If you are new to my channel, please understand that I cannot stand it when people use the term for all intents and purposes, because 98% of the time it is used to fluff out dialogue. Just fucking say the statement, or use the word essentially. Close enough. Okay, sorry, I got it out of my system. I feel better now. So, you move around in set increments using FMV transitions, which for a time was the absolute shit. Sure, it was during the Sega CD era and burnt out its welcome within the span of a year, but it's alright. It's immersive, at least it used to be. Dee swept you into a strange mansion with only the unnamed protagonist to guide herself. Was she unnamed? I don't remember.
Laura. 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 Go back. Laura. Laura.
Funny joke. Anywho, D was an immersive title for its time and certainly left an impact with many gamers, and is clearly the inspiration for this title. The reason I cover off on this style is that the attempt here is critical to the enjoyment of the game back in the day, since the gameplay is almost completely non-existent here. You move forward and rotate in place with the D-pad, but only after one of the characters will shout out dialogue randomly at the bottom of the screen.
なんか嫌だな。
ぐずぐずしちゃいられねえな。
Also, for some reason, occasionally it will shout out "No fear" on the bottom of the screen as well. You are set in a fixed perspective and can only rotate and move towards FMV sequences that the game devs deemed necessary. For example, we walk forward here to answer the phone. Next, we look at the newspaper to inform us of the outbreak that is going on. But only when you turn at this specific junction. This is one of the many instances of only being able to progress via accessing precise, random spots in the game. But that's not all. The innovation of R, the Mystery Hospital, is the Sense button, where certain spots will call out one of the many senses a human being possesses. You're tasked with hitting the Sense button shortly thereafter, or the opportunity is missed until you move into that spot again. When you don't have any interactivity to start with, hats off for trying to do something different with this format. You tried your best, and you failed miserably. The lesson is, never try. Waddling around this initial area, you're not meant to progress until you grab the newspaper and try the phone. Only after these two innocuous events will the Sense button come into play, where we are tasked with hearing the elevator coming down. For you see, if you didn't hear the elevator coming down, then these folk clearly wouldn't be coming down it. Gameplay. Once we arrive, our resident wannabe badass flips a coin, which branches the game into two entirely different sections lasting all 5 minutes each. I initially land on what I thought was heads, and head to the second floor with our hero and hot nurse. Walking by this blown out area, we scope out a Japanese newspaper and discover that Chao Ping Chang died, and once again our Sense button is needed to hear this woman flying up from behind. Did you miss the Sense button? Well, then she's not running towards us. Hit the Sense button, now she's running up to us. Just go with it. At this precise time in my filming of this footage, I didn't quite have the technical setup for my duck station for the English translation, so I'm going to do my best to translate off what I can interpret. Enjoy.
あなた、美里ちゃん、どうなってんのこれ、説明してよ。ごめんね、私にも。あ、彼ははじめくん。いいからここから出して。
Turns out you can super die in this game. So I walk into the gas main and explode into the I'm done for this game for the night, time to play satisfactory. Upon rebooting the game with the proper engine settings, I'm able to see the proper in-game translation, and on this coin toss we land on heads, which means we play on the first floor instead. This adds replay value to the game, because now you have to play the game twice to know what the other persons did on the opposite floors. I hope you enjoy this mechanic, because it's done. They don't do this for the rest of the game. This blast door that's held open by the stretcher is only accessible when the game says it's okay to traverse, despite the same person telling you that you can go through here in both scenarios. Duck under, decide that this door among the other 8 in the hallway is important, and turn towards this set of doors and open it to find a flashlight. Use the computer and see the other party doing the same thing we were just doing on the second floor earlier, and meet up at the elevator a second time. Hear them coming down to make sure they come down the elevator, and then we reunite with our new character, Misato, who gets to demonstrate what an entitled bitch sounds like in Japanese.
おい無事のようだ。
ちょっとどうにかしてよ。
なんだこいつ。
ここに通院してる美里ちゃん。んなことより男が3人もいて何やってんのよ。
可愛い顔してきついな。
君もちっちゃくて可愛いわよ。
何？僕が一番気にしてること。
それよりはじめどうだった？そうか、通信はダメだったか。俺たちはこれを見つけた。
ねえ、もう一度通信システムを調べてみようよ。
You heard this, dweeb. Let's check out the communication systems. Again, the reason? This key that was found on the second floor is needed to unlock another one of these little doors, revealing a watch. This watch is used to measure the level of virality to the player with a series of ticks to inform you of how viral that particular spot is. Spending too much time in the area and you'll get more infected with the Lamia virus that's going around. You'll pick up the instructions of this watch underneath the Pent Horse magazine, which is not what you think it means, or maybe it does. Let me do some research on that. It does not. Bitch Boy here is showing signs of the Lamia virus, which we will go into detail on shortly. Our next task is going into a random room to uncover a disinfectant and a flu vaccine, which will not be used like you think it would. Ryu carries our little man back into the room after finding the jet injector, so now we backtrack into the treatment room to administer the shot.
早くしよう。
あったわ、ジェットシュレンジ。これで少しは元気を取り戻せるはずよ。
よかったな、友。
ワクチンがあればラミアウイルスなんて。
That, sir, is not how any kind of antiviral works. You can't even see the microchip going into his bloodstream. You pick up a key card and take the elevator to the secret floor.
後ろが開いたぞ。
ここは一体出口でしょ。やっと出れるんだ。
そう願いたいもんだな。
僕は
大丈夫か？
僕は本当にラミアになっちゃったの？
きっと大丈夫。きっと嘘ばっかり。
あ、あれを見ろ。
出口なの？
行くしかないわ。なんか危なそう。やめようよ。また爆発だわ。
いけるぞ。捕まると思う。
美里ちゃん早く。
Who is this mysterious person watching these people? It's this guy. I'm getting the Limbo of the Lost vibes with these camera angles. Maybe I should tackle that monster one day. At the bottom, we see the layout of the next zone and test this laser for laserness.
ダメ！ほら！
Yep, it's a laser. Well, one more handkerchief just to be sure. Yep, still a laser. Hajime takes a step through this door and gets locked in the next room for the plot setup and suits up. For the next bit, we are treated to a lovely 8-bit rendition of ventilation, an inexplicable radio connection to the rest of the group that interrupts our every step, and a built-in game timer to get things done as soon as possible. We pick up various virus samples and its corresponding vaccine, along with a diagram of what these viruses and/or bacterial infections do to humans. The Lamia virus has symptoms of red spots, high fever, and convulsions, with blood loss being the final nail in the coffin. The Beelzebub virus has full body convulsions, turning red, and then has your body rupture, which sounds lovely. The Dagon bacteria gives the chicken pox that turns these spots red and kills you by causing the truly distinctive medical conditions of turning your entire body black. Finally, we have the Wraith bacteria, another one that causes red spots to convulsions along with vomiting. The cause of death? Endless vomiting.
Oh, you don't want that.
We're also presented with the mystery virus that causes the jellification after softening of your cells. If I were given a choice, I would definitely go with the gooification, please. Give me one of those. We see something rapidly multiplying under the microscope, like really rapidly, since it expanded from 10 to the 100th power to 10 to the 10th power in under a second. The next room over is a series of stills giving some backstory on each of the illnesses and is part of a puzzle of sorts. Moving into the final room, you're given a key to the room you initially entered through, and are constantly being barraged with radio messages of the group left behind being sick with the various symptoms of what you should be taking note of. You can test these slugs being infected with various cures to see what happens, or just read the walkthrough like I did. And would you know, the walkthrough recommends you fucking it up when you can treat these folk. Yes, that was worth it. Use the key to get through the laser grid to activate the stock sound effects system. We go down the escalator to be treated by a fourth wall cutscene demanding the next disc to be inserted. Hey, good job. Good job, game. That's actually clever. Go you. Good job. That's not me clapping, it's me fucking your mouth. And now we enter the Chamber of Bullshit for the only true puzzle in the game. And would you guess it? It's a slide puzzle. Spicy hot take time. I really don't mind slide puzzles as much as the average person. And I feel like this game knows this fact. So I can imagine the room where they designed this and how they wanted to make the worst thing in the world. But how? How do you take something so uninspired and uninteresting in design and make it the worst thing ever? Jenkins, ideas, go.
I got it. Let's add a 60-second timer that resets the puzzle if you fail.
Oh, fuck yeah, good idea.
Wait, hear me out, wait. What if we make the controls for the slide puzzle control with more input lag than a discounted Walmart DVD player menu where the batteries are just old enough to hold a charge, so you gotta hold the remote kind of like this to operate.
Oh, fuck. Oh, Jenkins, that's such a good idea. Oh, it's a really good idea.
Hey, let's add a heartbeat sound at 30 seconds or less to remind person that they're running out of time.
Oh, Jenkins, oh, that's really good. Oh, dude, we just make the worst sound loop in the history of all video games.
Jenkins, you're a
genius. Oh, man. We have some layoffs to make, so I'm sorry. Proceeding further down into the labyrinth, we will arrive at the main chamber of exposition to start the show. I'm going to show this in its entirety and do my personal best to digest the plot from here.
うわくっちゃーい
何この匂い。いやー、気持ち悪い。
大丈夫ミサトちゃん
誰かが中に。
りょう
りょうくん？い
タモ逃げろ逃げるんだお前たちを騙すのは大変だったぜ
そう。天馬院長。
してもう一つの顔 STG の制約。
STG？ 何それ？
世界のトップクラスの企業だ。こいつらはある計画のために俺たち5人。
計画？
アズモ伝説知ってるかね。
進化した古代人の伝説。
そうだ、我々 STG は長い間この伝説を研究し、ようやく謎を解明した。アズモとは完璧な抗体を持つ人間のことだった。
抗体？
病気から体を守るシステムだよ。完璧なアズモの抗体を使えば、あらゆる病気を予防する薬を作ることができる。
そんなの無理だわ。
古代ウイルス、そして抗体を作る特殊な DNA を持つ人間、この2つが揃えば可能なのだよ、キサラギ。
じゃあそのために、ああ、古代ウイルスアスモデスはここにある。俺のことさ。
特殊な DNA の人間っていうのが僕たち。
その通り、MJ と呼ばれる DNA だ。君たちの中に MJ がいる。これまで数々の実験を繰り返したが発見できなかった。だがとうとう MJ が。
どうしてそんなことがわかるの？
この地域に MJ が存在することは判明していた。だから病院を建て、たくさんの人間の DNA サンプルを集めた。
ようやくお前らを見つけることができたってことさ。
検査や実験を行うにはここは最適な場所とは思わんかね。たとえ問題が起きてももみ消せる。
それが医者のすること？
お前たちが早く見つかればよかったのだ。ロバート、始めろ。Yes, sir。バカだ、こいつらは MJ じゃないのか。一体 MJ はどこにいるんだ。MJ はいなかった。
Boss! MJ! Oh my god!
MJ! よし、制約を作れ。これ夢にまで見た薬。よし、これを化け物に投与してみろ。
Did you get all of that? The hospital is a front for finding the perfect DNA within this group of kids. How did they know they had it? Don't worry about it. Who the fuck is this guy impersonating Rio? Don't worry about it. They made the panacea from our hero character after discovering he has the perfect antibodies for the disease. If we weren't counting the ones he's susceptible to naturally, and then we are allowed to leave the area after the transformed real Rio escapes. Hajime is apparently now out of the capsule, and we get another dose of Pankia, I don't know how to pronounce that word, after releasing Hot Nurse from her confines. What about the other ones? Don't worry about it. Go to the next room over and discover something about the ancient legend, and this mummy that crashes for some reason.
Roberto, 寮を倉庫に送れ。
Yes, sir.
でこのミイラを発見した。そしてミイラからウイルスを見つけ出したのさ。
それがアスモです。
ラミアやダロン、ベルゼブブもそうだ。
STG はそれを世界中にばらまいたのね。
その通り。そうすれば MJ とアスモデスから作られたこの予防薬を世界は買う。莫大な金を払って。
けだもの
だが実は薬なんてどうでもいいことなんだよ。アスモデスの感染で新たな人類が生まれ全てを支配する。これが真のアスモ伝説。
感染すると死ぬはずじゃ。
抗体を持つ者、そして古代人の DNA を持つ者は死なない。
古代人のということは。
そうだ、私は伝説復活のためにこのミイラの DNA から2体の量を生み出したのだ。
そんな。
片方の寮は失敗作だが、魔おかげで MJ と出会うことができた。感謝しなくては。
なんて人なの？
人類の運命を左右することをしているのだ。仕方があるまい。
You know, I never expected in my life to use the running man as a verb, but here we are. After we get running manned, we are in the ancient ruins filled with clear, still water that we get to look at for no reason at all. Fascinating. We reach a fork in the road with a left and right having a body on each side, laying down, with a pulsating head. You know, I give this game a lot of shit, but this is an appropriate reaction to that. After you look at each body, you return to the center for some more plot.
MJ、どちらがリオかわかるかね？盗んだ薬を君たちの親愛なるリオ君に投与すれば元の人間に戻る。だがもし間違えれば本物のアスモデスが復活する。It's showtime!
Like, why? Bro here just knocked us both out. He could have taken the meds at any time. I am looking into this way too much. There is zero way to know which way to choose, but here's the wrong answer. The skin dissolves, revealing the Asmodeus, and the bodyguard shows up to shove his thumb up your butt.
ついにアスモデスが復活するのだ。
Where's drugs? I got it!
In reviewing this footage, I've had to rewatch this many times, not for the "where's drugs" line, but for the context of what the absolute fuck is going on.
こんなところに。
シンカー。
列車だわ。
やばい、隠れるんだ。俺は列車を見てくる。友達を探してくれ。俺に任せろ。行け。
はじめくん、早く。
I'm not editing any of this. This is the way the information is presented to all of us. Save your friends by injecting the meds, and rejoin Rio in his fist fight against the English-speaking bastard. Except things don't quite go to plan.
Come on! No suffer.
Did you get all that? Good. Now that we are on the train, Hajime needs to go to the back of the train car to pick up this pistol that's there for some reason. Then, back at the front, Rio looks at the train's rear camera console to discover the rolling boulder of impossible physics, and you are presented with the toughest of intellectual challenges. Put yourself in this scenario and really think this through. A boulder is catching up to the underground train as it rotates 1 revolution per second. You have 2 options. A, move faster. B, move slower. Don't hurt yourself now. I get stuck trying to process all of this, and the game chooses for me. Slow down. Let the boulder smash into the train car. Game over. Alright, let's try moving faster. Now that we have maximum train speed, you need to return to the back of the train car to open the rear door. Why? So you can witness this. The next task? Well, it depends. Ultimately, you need to inject the perfect being with the flu vaccine. Why? To prove to idiots that vaccines kill. But in this particular part of the game, you need to select the gun with silver bullets, but that won't stop me from spraying myself with this and staring down our blue man for a bit beforehand. I don't have any comment for this. How does anyone? You now have 2 chances to pick the flu vaccine. Pick wrong and our friend here taunts you and gets right up into your bubble. Pick wrong again for the wrong ending. Why does the ultimate being that conquers our heroes put them in brains in a jar in a building somewhere? Why not? Alright, let's do the good ending. Wow, best game ever. I'm glad they tied up all the loose ends with that. But hey, there's more. If you want to be a true weirdo, type in this name in the entry screen, plow your way back to the lab, and look at PNGs of model pictures of Aya on a golf course. Don't say this game doesn't have replay value. This screen here reassures you of it. An adventure game for fans and first-timers alike. 10 out of 10,000. Is there anything that I could comment on that isn't 100% apparent from just listening and watching the game? Any deep hidden meaning behind a boulder that rotates 1 rotation per second and can outrun a speeding train? A game that created the worst sliding puzzle of all existence. I think I covered most of it. 3D modeling is hard to do with modern technology. Doing it in the 90s required what I can only imagine was far more patience and skill to make human beings look remotely so. I can't pick too much on the animations themselves, I've seen worse, but I can pick on the storyline and game design until the cows come home. Which I won't. I'm tired and I'm going to lie down for a while.